Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Bearable Bull here. And I got this aggressively average content for you today, as XRP is at $2.31 for the day. I think a lot of you need to realize what I really think of this. I think a lot of you need to realize what I really think of this digital asset. Ladies and gentlemen, XRP is the only crypto in the entire market that can mathematically and realistically pass Bitcoin as the leader of the crypto market. I think it's only an inevitability. I think it's 100% going to happen. And it's up to all of you to be positioned before all of this takes off. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in a pivotal moment where we can see a vast range of outcomes for XRP. The next level XRP is going to reach, without a shadow of a doubt, and in my opinion with 100% certainty, is the $8 to $10 range. And that's actually closer to a $8 to $13 range. But I want to be realistic and conservative right now. $8 is locked in. Prepare for it. I will be taking profits at that $8 to $10 range. And when we're at that level, I will be zoned in to see where exactly the peak will be when we get to those levels. But then there's another outcome. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been talking a lot on my channel as well as with Waters Above Crypto about the potential $26 mark that I think XRP could realistically achieve this cycle as well. I think based on the 7-year compression of the XRP price due to the SEC lawsuit, it's a possibility that these higher $26 targets are at play. And here, from Aminex, if XRP returns to its Bitcoin paired all-time high of 0.00024 Bitcoin, then in 2025 dollars adjusted for inflation, XRP could achieve a mark of $34. This is right in line with the $26 mark that we have technically been able to find on the charts. And ladies and gentlemen, what's so important that you all realize is that while $8 to $10 is an inevitability, these higher levels, like the $26 mark that I think could be the high this cycle, and even $34 if we reach a previous indicator, there are higher highs that will be achieved for XRP that we need to anticipate. This coin is unbelievably special. It's been unbelievably suppressed, and you need to prepare for all outcomes. This is a massive warning to the XRP army to know what you hold, but at the same time, to take profits so you're not left bag holding another cycle. Now guys, XRP has been chosen by Dubai to launch a $16 billion real estate tokenization platform, as Dubai is officially turning property into programmable assets. The government's new platform lets investors buy fractional ownership in Dubai real estate with title deeds tokenized directly on the XRP ledger. And it will be backed by the Dubai Land Department, targeting $16 billion in tokenized property by 2033. An entry point of low. Entry points can be as low as $540, and full integration with official property records is coming. This is real-world adoption at a national scale powered by the XRP ledger. But don't get it twisted, my friends. While I absolutely love real estate tokenization coming to the XRP ledger, the absolute market leader in real estate for the entire crypto market is Propy. And you guys know that since 25 cents, I've been telling all of you about my favorite crypto in the market, in Propy. And yes, I say that due to its massive use case. Propy has already tokenized $10 billion worth of properties, They automate title escrow and close via smart contracts. They work with crypto or fiat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, backed by Tim Draper, the OG crypto VC, listed on Coinbase, and will have even more powerful developments coming soon. They already have a real estate course for crypto real estate agents, and they are the market leader with real estate NFT transactions, having the first one globally and also the first one here in the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, crypto is about to take off with a bang, and the altcoins with real world use cases are going to take off, especially ones that are US based like XRP and like Propy. There is so much to look forward to this cycle. And something else I'm going to tell all of you is I'm going to be even more active on revealing a lot of altcoins in this market that I think are going to give massive ROI. I've been extremely careful as to which coins I promote on my YouTube channel, as there's a certain level of risk that is heightened when you talk about lower cap altcoins. But I think in the evolution of my channel, talking more about high quality hidden gem altcoins is going to make a lot of you a lot of money, as I've made a declaration that this cycle is an apology to myself and an apology to all of you. We're about to get this bank money, my friends. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Now, ladies and gentlemen, along with everything else, we have this piece of news from the free state of Florida, proposing to abolish state capital gains tax on Bitcoin, XRP, and stocks. And the reason this is so significant, in my personal opinion, is because XRP is being mentioned as its own credible asset within the crypto space on the level of Bitcoin. This is so significant and a 180-degree shift from where we were just a short couple years ago. And that just goes to show how quickly things are moving in XRP's direction. Now guys, I'm taking a bit of a different turn in this video. We need to talk about the global climate, specifically about the American economy. We know how intertwined the global economy is. We know how important the US stock market is, especially in regards to crypto and how they correlate. Here, while you slept, the price of credit default swaps on US government debt has risen to one of the highest levels since 2008. And for a long time, I've been seeing this moment in time right here in 2025 being compared to the financial climate right before the '08 financial crisis. Here, we see the S&P 500, how we had a V-shaped recovery after the '08 crash into 2009. We compare that to the 2020 COVID crash, and we see right here what we recently experienced in the S&P 500 and how that correlates to the past two crashes on the screen right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we've seen a sharp rebound in the S&P, but I also believe that this recovery, quote unquote, is going to lead to one of the biggest financial pullbacks we've seen since the '08 financial crisis. The reason this is so significant is because this is going to be a global crisis. But I've long been the individual stating that I believe XRP's on-demand liquidity and full-blown adoption is going to truly begin after we see a global black swan event. And in a previous video I posted within the past 2 days, I showed you Japan and how Japan is one of the most correlated markets in regards to XRP adoption and with the US economy. And here, it shows how liquidity in Japanese bond markets is at Lehman levels, as the Japanese bond market liquidity has dropped to 2008 Lehman crisis levels. I believe we are going to experience a financial crisis. and it's very possible it happens this year. Remember how we've seen by November 2025 this year, SWIFT has to have all banks transfer over. This is important. All these things are aligned, and everything needs to be paid attention to, because I believe specifically XRP will rise out of the ashes of this financial crisis. $8 to $10 for XRP is going to happen due to natural crypto market forces and natural price action. But could the way XRP reaches my $26 prediction for it, or even the $34 presented by it achieving previous XRP Bitcoin relations, could it be due to this? I think it's a very real possibility, and one you cannot ignore. BlackRock has issued a warning on Bitcoin, saying quantum computing is a legitimate undermining of the viability of Bitcoin's cryptographic systems. And I don't think they'd say this unless it was a legitimate threat. I started off this video by saying I think XRP is the only crypto that can mathematically pass Bitcoin as the king of crypto. And in my personal opinion, if XRP ever does pass Bitcoin as the king of crypto, it'll be the best thing that ever happened to crypto, because we'll see a much, much higher market cap and a different market dynamic that'll let other cryptos thrive outside of Bitcoin's antiquated systems. Don't believe me, it's still true. But regardless, we do live in a Bitcoin-centric environment in crypto right now. And right here, Donald Trump's crypto czar David Sachs delivered a powerful speech in Bitcoin 2025 in Las Vegas, which is preceding the XRP Las Vegas event this weekend, providing an overview of President Donald Trump's White House actions regarding Bitcoin and crypto. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the most bullish speeches I've seen in the crypto market in a long time. And with everything gearing up for a parabolic altcoin season, all I ask for all of you is that you hold on to your hats, because the party's just about to get started. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bearable Bull here. Thanks for tuning in. As always, I appreciate every single one of you. Now I'll be back tomorrow with another video.
So that was 2 days later, he signed a week one executive order to promote U.S. leadership in digital assets. That EO prohibited CBDCs. It ordered the end of Operation Choke Point 2.0, and it created our President's Working Group on Digital Assets that I'll get to in a second. In March, he established the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve, which treats Bitcoin as a reserve asset of the United States for the first time. And then we also hosted the first Digital Assets Summit at the White House, which is the first time that digital assets or crypto has been treated in that way as an industry that's arrived. There's also been a ton of work that's been done on the sort of agency rulemaking side. The president rescinded the IRS's DeFi broker rule. We rescinded SAB 121, which effectively prevented banks from getting into custody of Bitcoin. The DOJ ended its regulation by prosecution approach, which ended these aggressive legal actions against digital asset firms without telling them what the rules are. I mean, we had this approach under Gensler where he would say, well, just come in and talk to us. I heard all these stories from crypto founders that they were told, well, just come in and talk to us. And then there'd be someone from the enforcement division in these meetings writing down everything they'd say. And then the next day they would get a Wells notice and the prosecution would start us. Well, who would want to, people learned very quickly not to go in and talk to the SEC. So the DOJ has ended that. The SEC has established a crypto task force to provide regulatory clarity. Hester Peirce has done an amazing job with this. The Federal Reserve Board, the OCC, and FDIC have all issued favorable guidance for banks to engage in crypto-related activities, which I think is a very important step to further mainstreaming crypto adoption. And then my personal favorite is that the administration defunded the CFPB, which is Elizabeth Warren's personal regulatory agency. This was her personal goon squad to terrorize crypto companies, and that got defunded. So that's just a small sample of what's been accomplished in just the first 100 days. It's pretty incredible. And then, you heard from Senator Hagerty a minute ago what's happening on Capitol Hill. There's the stablecoin bill's about to pass, the Genius Act, and then I don't think that's going to be the end of it. I think on the heels of that, there's also a market structure bill that's coming that I think will also likely pass before August. And the point of the market structure bill is to enshrine all of the new rules that we put in place into law so that a future Gary Gensler can't just unwind everything that we've done.